Welcome to Vegas Circle with Paki and Chris. And today, joining the circle with us, we are excited to have the owners of Bottega Exchange, which is Las Vegas's premier co-working space, Megan Jones and Kelli Despain. Megan is also a partner at Hilltop Public Solutions, and Kelli is also the owner of Moxie Ink Designs. So welcome to the circle, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us.
So first off, we want to ask you guys, how did you guys connect? How did you guys become business partners?
Kelli and I have known each other we were trying to do the math the other night, actually. Our oldest kids are 16 now, and they met when they were in kindergarten. So it's been,
three. Well, it was 2008. Remember, because they knew each other when they were.
We don't even know.
We went to different schools. It's just been so long, guys. We can't possibly know.
So we were backyard neighbors, and I had not met Kelli yet, but we had a July 4th party at our house, and the neighbors behind us had just moved in, and they apparently had a long day and forgot to put up their window coverings. And
we didn't have it yet.
Yeah. So I met Kelli's husband. The entire neighborhood met Kelli's husband when he decided to take a shower for the entire neighborhood in the backyard. So that was how I met Kelli.
Yeah. Listen,
friends ever since.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening in the middle of summer. Like it was still light outside. You'd have thought you were safe.
You guys are hilarious, man. It's good to see that you guys built your friendship. Did you guys start Bottega Exchange, which a couple years ago now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've always kind of been the yin and yang. Like I'm very type A, and Kelli's the creative yang, and so the yin. I don't even. The yin is the.
I was impressed.
The yang is like.
So
yeah. So Kelli is the creative type, and I work in politics, and also again on a whim, we travel a lot together. We were on a trip to Thailand, and Kelli said, "Take it away."
Let's start a co-working office. I mean, ideally, I've been begging Megan. I was like, I've been working from home. I was like, I need an office. I need to get away. I need to have a place where I can meet my clients and not be, frantically getting to a coffee shop or last case scenario, have them come to my house. So I've been trying to talk her into it. And then it exploded from like, find a small office that we can share together to let's buy 8,000 square feet of office space and make a go of this.
Yeah, you just kind of see the growth of the co-working spaces just blowing up in general. So it's kind of like perfect timing that you guys jumped in on it. And you're in a sub-market of, Las Vegas that there's not a ton of competition. How are you guys like positioning yourselves to be successful in that co-working space?
Well, it was perfect timing until about March of 2020. And frankly, we still think it's perfect timing because COVID has kind of transformed the way people do business. And I think a lot more people think, oh, we don't need to be in this huge complex of offices. It's good to have people work remotely or closer to home and give them flexibility. So we're hoping that once there's a vaccine administered and not goes back to normal, because I don't think it will ever, I hope that we come out of this with a new normal. But I think once people are allowed to be around each other in mass, I think that we feel well positioned to pivot to that next phase.
I think pivot is
a
key word. Yeah, sure.
I know.
Go right ahead,
we've had lots of conversations on how to pivot.
Yeah.
But I think for us too, the marriage of the private offices and the open space has been our saving grace and our foundation to build on to be able to do more fun things, going back to having events. And we've already got, ideally just waiting for time, as Megan said, to get to a new normal. But, like pop-up concerts are starting to be planned and pop-up shop, boutique style things and weddings. And just, we were doing these happy hours and bringing lunch in and all these fun things for our members before March of this year. So getting back to that place is also one of our main marketing facets that we are providing such a fun experience for our members.
No, you guys got a friend of ours, Shane Jasmine. I know she's
we love her.
Yeah, we had her on the show. Great lady, great law firm, and I know she comes to speak to you guys a lot.
Yes,
for women's businesses.
Yeah.
And we got to give you guys a shout out too. if you guys remember us being in the studio, we were at Bottega Exchange. So we used to use their business.
Good location.
You
Very
were
good
one of our
location.
first members, and
Yes.
and really and truly our first podcast member, and we really enjoyed having you there. So
We heard it here first. I didn't know
the room
that.
was very nice. And the room and the equipment were really well thought out and nicely put together.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. We consulted a lot of people before we purchased our equipment.
Good stuff. Good
As
stuff.
we didn't really have any idea what we were doing. So
That's all right. You guys know how to pivot. You guys know the keyword to pivot it. That's awesome. But no, it's good to be able to see. I mean, you guys have, we've been following that a lot. Chris and I talk a lot about small business, what a lot of big businesses are doing. And then just the co-working space, I like what you guys are saying on there is how it's transitioned so much. And it's literally like the future of people working from home or people working remotely, or they want to be able to have a professional office to be able to meet somebody with, maybe just have a cup of coffee or to have a presentation. And guys, just for our listeners, they've got a beautiful conference room that you'll be able to use. Awesome, state-of-the-art equipment, definitely great facility in the southwest part of Vegas. And then you guys actually have businesses separately, so which is funny also, but you guys actually are tenants in your own space, which is pretty cool too. So Megan, can you kind of talk about Hilltop Solutions?
Hilltop Public Solutions, yep. So it's a consulting firm on public affairs and political campaigns. And so I grew up in Las Vegas. I was born and raised here, moved in college and interned for Senator Reid back in Washington, D.C. many, many, many years ago, and came out here when I was an intern. When I worked for him, he sent me out to Las Vegas to help him on his 1998 race, where he won by 428 votes. And I thought it was fantastic. And I was like, I want to do this forever. So I started doing campaigns back in 1998 was my first race. And subsequently have worked on some really cool things, worked on national monument campaigns here in Nevada to protect a place called Gold Butte, which is right outside of Mesquite, and also most recently worked for Senator Kamala Harris, who's now Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. And so, it's definitely different than Bottega Exchange. I think Kelli and I both thought Bottega Exchange would be like our side hustle. Hashtag side hustle. It's a little bit more than that. So she's very gracious and has put up with me because my work tends to ebb and flow in times of campaigns. I get really, really busy and really, really stressed. And she's a really good business partner. She puts up with that.
I got to ask you both this question. How do you guys feel with seeing a vice president being a woman? What impact does that have on you guys?
Not just a woman, she's a woman of color and obviously a multiracial woman, and she's fantastic. I took Kelli to meet her a couple of weeks ago, so she can comment.
Finally.
What was that like, Kelli? What was that experience meeting?
Oh, well, it was great. It was a smaller gathering. Kamala was doing kind of one last push in Vegas before the polls closed, and Megan even finagled a photo op with her, which was really awesome. And Megan jumped on the Kamala bandwagon before the nation mostly knew who she was, because let me just put in this plug for Megan. She's amazing. And she is like, the whole nation in the political realm knows who Megan is and searches her out to do things. So she had her pick of candidates to work for in the Democratic primaries. And when she said Kamala, I was like, I don't even know who this person is. But Megan saw the beauty in her from the get-go and has been her biggest cheerleader. And I have fallen in love with her through Megan's excitement and through all the things, reading up and listening to her and her intelligence and her compassion and pretty much everything she stands for are things I believe in.
That's pretty powerful.
And it's because of Megan that I...
No, Megan's got the best. I'll tell you, I remember the first time we met her, it was like rushed on a Saturday, and she's connected. We fell in love with her, with her being able to show us around and be able to, sell the Bottega vision, which is pretty cool. I do got to ask you guys, was there any voter fraud? Do you guys think there was any voter fraud out there?
Not at all. Just in Nevada, I can speak to the nation too, but in Nevada, Joe Gloria, who works in Clark County, is the writer, found, I think, 638 discrepancies. So that's where the voter file doesn't quite match up with the ballot. So 638. The margin of victory for Joe Biden in Clark County was 90,000 votes. 638, like there's, and of that 638, 5 people were found to have voted twice. 5 people.
So it's such a small.
The margin of error is extremely tiny there.
Yeah, it's just, it's not a thing. And if you look at all the court cases that the Trump campaign has brought, I know your podcast listeners there are probably some who voted on both sides. But if you look at the cases, the Trump campaign has lost 34 out of 36 cases because they don't present any real evidence. And this is nationwide. They're just no evidence of voter fraud.
That's extremely interesting, especially because you're on the back seat of it. Mostly you're just hearing about what you see on media, and you're just hearing fraud. But to actually be there on the front line, seeing the statistics and the numbers behind it is pretty insightful. That when you break it down like that, it makes much more sense.
Look, it was an unusual election. This is, again, speaking from a Nevada perspective, in general, we only have about 5% of the voting population vote by mail here. We love early vote. It's like a religion here. But the pandemic changed everything. And so the legislature and the governor passed a law that said, you know what? We should pass vote by mail which is basically just absentee ballot without reason. Generally, you have to apply to be an absentee voter. So we mailed ballots out to every active voter. And what it did was expand the electorate, which on both sides, frankly. We had record numbers of Democrats turn out and record numbers of Republicans turn out. And that's a win for everybody. Ultimately, democracy works best, in my opinion, when everybody participates. And so vote by mail did that. And so you really can't argue with the results, in my opinion. But obviously, others do.
No, we had to get your feedback on it. One last question on your business. Did you also work with President Obama's second campaign? Is that what I read? Or
I did. Yeah. In 2012, I was the trips director, which basically meant that every time he came out to Nevada, I got to plan the trip, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was probably one of my most fun experiences.
Yeah, you worked on some high-profile campaigns. It's intense, man. I don't even know how. You keep your, it's intense.
Weird.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
It's a weird business, and it is a business. For a long time, my parents were like, you get paid for what you do, or you just volunteer? So it's taken many years for my parents to even really understand, like, what is this? So this is a job? Yeah.
That's awesome. For our listeners that want to reach out to Megan and hire her services, she's no joke, man. She knows what she's doing for sure. If they kind of transition to Kelli, you got 18 years of experience, got one of the coolest websites out there for graphic design and digital. Really, really cool. So you specialize in branding, logo design, and then wedding design. Is that what we're reading?
Yeah, pretty much. The majority of what I do day to day is just marketing graphics for clients. So, whatever sale they're having, or their email blast, or the social media marketing. Really, in the last 5 years, the way people market has completely changed. So a lot of the designs now are not for print, they're just for digital. So, which is actually a lot easier for me. So that's what I do pretty much all day. Occasionally, there's about 20% of my business I get to do fun stuff like weddings and events like that. But the moneymaker is the just day-to-day marketing.
What's your most memorable design piece from your portfolio?
So there's been a lot of women-owned businesses that I've designed their branding for, their initial marketing, and years later I'm still carrying their branding through all of their marketing and their, shout outs or whatever they do. And that is what I love. So watching them be successful and hear them say, from that last email blast, I got X amount of sales or whatever. So I don't have maybe one in particular, just the constant ongoing carrying that branding through. I would much rather create a logo and then still be on to create everything that goes along with that to keep their branding consistent and cohesive versus, the one-offs when they're like, I just need a logo and then they're going to take care of it all themselves. I cringe inside because I think the vision is not going to stay, but also, everybody's got their own ideas of how things should go. So I'm just here to do whatever they tell me to do. But
That's not true. That is, if I can brag on Kelli for a second, the reason you hire Kelli is because she has a vision and she follows through with it. And she takes pride in investing in her clients and really trying to push them in a way that the brand is going to be much bigger and better than you ever thought it could be without her. So she's fantastic.
And that's the fun part. Honestly, getting it to that point, that is the fun part.
You know, kind of what is your creative process, and how do the clients come to you and you bring their vision to life, or do you start with kind of an example and you run with it from there?
So both. I mean, it really, the start of the process comes from all angles. Some people know exactly what they want. When they come to me, they're like, I like these colors, I want this color scheme. And, you know, so there's always questions they ask in the beginning. Do you like more modern design, simple and clean, or do you like things that are a little bit more busy and traditional, or, you know, European style? You know, what is your style? And that's where I start at, because if I spend all this time creating something and it's not even their aesthetic, then it was a big waste of time. So usually it starts there, but then I tell all my clients, you know, for the initial branding for your logo, you've got to give me 2 weeks, because I'll start it, I'll come back, I'll think, I'll research, I will see what other people in our industry is doing. I try to just get a big, completely round idea of what their industry is, because that's important in how I design the brand.
In some cases, she creates her own font for it too. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, you both are very creative. You can see just walking into Bottega Exchange,
Yeah,
you guys got your touch everywhere.
You know, and that's one thing Megan says, we're yin and yang, but we're also so alike in so many ways. So as we were creating Bottega and going shopping for furniture and paint and walls and all the things, doors, you know, all the things that you have to decide on, we were pretty much on the same page for everything.
It was much easier than building a house with my husband.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There would be many more fights if I was creating that with my husband. He would question every move. But Megan and I are like, love it, done, buy it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, your creative process is similar to Bottega. You know, it just flows together very nicely. It's very clean and professional. It's all aspects of what you want in a business, all put together very nicely.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's what we're hoping for.
I do got to ask you guys both, how do you both deal with pressure? You guys have a business? Did you guys both have separate businesses? You guys got deadlines? You got all these people pulling at you. How do you guys do it?
That's where we're yin and yang.
Yeah. And you guys have got families too, man. I mean, you guys family, married, you got kids, you guys are running around, entrepreneurs. So
well, and that's why we put Bottega. That was one of the biggest things for us when we were looking for a place, is we needed to be close enough that we could grab our kids from school and get them to this activity and that activity, and that we, you know, close to school, close to home. And it just worked out that there really wasn't anything like this in the Southwest anyway. So no matter where we put it, it was destined to.
Tell our listeners too where you guys are located. I forgot to even mention that. So I know you're Southwest. Give the location of where you guys are at.
Right off of Buffalo and 215. So 6675 South Tenaya, Suite 200.
Right, like directly in between Buffalo and Rainbow on that frontage road.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's really easy.
Yeah, easy right off there. You can see their sign too off the freeway. So just give you guys a heads up on there.
One level, you're not walking through a big parking lot, up a million stairs or an elevator. You're like drive in, drive out. It's pretty great.
It's easy access. And so we do got to ask you guys. We've asked all of our guests. What's both of you guys' favorite restaurants in Vegas?
Well, I'll start because one of them is my brother's restaurant and also a member of Bottega, and that is DW Bistro.
Shout out to DW Bistro. What's your brother's name? I know your brother. I forgot about DW Bistro.
Bryce. His name is
Bryce. Okay.
Love
Good
DW
stuff.
Bistro. That's a good restaurant.
We haven't had anybody say that yet.
Don't tell him.
It's good. We keep track of all the lists, man. So that's good. We want to get the hidden gems. So that's awesome.
Best Sunday brunch in town.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And Kelli, what's yours?
I was gonna go with Pizzeria Manzu or its parent company Nora's.
Okay. Josh Molina just brought up Pizzeria Manzu. So good stuff. Yeah. What's next on both of you guys' radar? What do you guys kind of see the next year to 5 years? I know you work on campaigns, you're on the design tip with Bottega Exchange. What's kind of like your guys' vision and goal?
For me, I actually this year started hiring. I've got a part-time employee and an intern, which has been life-changing. So My goal is to build it into more of a firm and less of a one-girl show.
Got it. Okay. How about you, Megan? Yeah.
In 5 years, my daughter will be out of the house, and
In
my
2
son.
years, your daughter will be
I know,
out.
but he said 1 to 5 years. So we love to travel. And so the first thing that we're going to do when we're able to is travel somewhere, anywhere. Business wise, I am interested to see where the Biden-Harris administration goes, and I wouldn't rule out working directly for them but I most likely will be on yet another campaign cycle in 2022, which basically starts tomorrow. So.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't stop.
I don't realize how nonstop that industry is. It just, we only hear about it once every few years.
It used to not be that way, but.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's like just the 6 months before the election, but you guys been killing it. Yeah, so that's amazing. What else do you guys want to share? Anything else you guys want to promote? Do you guys have any open vacancies at Bottega Exchange that people can take advantage of, or the sizes of the office space or anything like that?
We do. We have a private office that comes online starting December 1st, and anybody can come take a tour. You can go to BottegaExchange.com and schedule a tour. We also have a holiday pop-up shop that is outdoors and fits all of the governor's guidelines for retail, and it's going to be really fun. We've got 30 plus vendors. Kelly's really put that together so she can speak more to that. But it's going to be really fun and a way to support small local businesses here.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, we've got great vendors, great food vendors coming as well. And like Megan said, it will all be outside, and we will be limiting kind of the amount of people that are in each area. We are just using that whole parking lot, which is nice and big. So
awesome.
It should be plenty of fresh air blowing through and keeping everybody nice and safe.
Well, you got to support the local business, especially in Vegas. That's what we want to bring you guys on for the platform. And can you guys give out your personal handles too of your businesses? Also, besides Bottega Exchange, what Bottega Exchange's handle is, and then both of your guys' business handles.
Yeah, so mine is just Moxie Ink Designs, plural designs. So I'm not on Facebook very much, even though that was more my generation. I just never jumped on the bandwagon. So mostly on Instagram, Moxie Ink Designs, or moxieinkdesigns.com. Ink, awesome. Like printer ink. So
got it. Awesome. And Megan, what is yours?
So my Twitter handle is mjoneslv, and hilltoppublicsolutions.com. And I think that's it.
Oh, no problem. Yep. And you'll be able to see us at thevegascircle.com. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. And you guys definitely check out Bottega Exchange, especially if you're trying to launch your business. That's how Chris and I were able to do it too, last year, and just powerful, man. It's really enjoyed spending time with you guys. So
yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you.